Enir-Ilim, meaning where the gods are born, is a floating tower in the sky reminiscent of Faramazula. Serving as the home of the Inquisitors and Divine Warriors, this enigmatic structure holds a wealth of lore and sheds light on the story and themes of Elden Ring. Its design and the philosophical practices of its denizens reveal a complex exploration of questioning, growth, and the pursuit of enlightenment. The Inquisitor's Ashes provides a unique perspective on the philosophical and metaphysical themes woven into the game's narrative. The lore description of these ashes, along with the symbolism of the Inquisitor's tools and practices, reflects a deep connection to the process of questioning and intellectual growth, a process famously embodied in Socratic dialogue. The description of the Inquisitor's Ashes highlight the nature of their questioning. Inquisitor Ashes in English. Inquisitions often perplexed the minds of the uninitiated, and so seniority was viewed as an asset. When you translate the Japanese back to English, it reads, "Interrogation can sometimes lead astray the heart of the young. Thus, it became the duty of the elderly." The Japanese description emphasizes the potential of questioning to lead astray the hearts of the young, resonating with the charges brought against Socrates in Plato's Apology. Socrates was accused of corrupting the youth and introducing novel spiritual beliefs. Socrates does injustice by corrupting the young and by not believing in the gods, in whom the city believes, but in other daimonia that are novel. The Inquisitor's role is akin to Socratic dialogue, where rigorous questioning unsettles the uninitiated and compels them to reevaluate their beliefs. This process of interrogation is both unsettling and necessary, as it transitions individuals from ignorance to a deeper understanding of truth. The Inquisitors wield the golden arcs, which serves as tools of coercive questioning. The lore description provides insight. Sorcery of the Inquisitors of the Tower, wielded as an incantation of the spiral. The arcs resemble barbs, a known symbol of coercive questioning. The barbed design of the golden arc reflects the sharp exchange of debate and dialogue, much like the idiom, trading barbs. These arcs symbolize the probing and often painful nature of intellectual inquiry. In Socratic dialogue, this process forces individuals into a state of aporia, which is when you feel doubt and confusion. This is a necessary precursor to euporia, where you have clarity of mind and an abundance of understanding. The philosophical progress from aporia to euporia is central to the Inquisitor's methods. Aporia represents a state of perplexity and internal contradiction. Aporia, an irresolvable internal contradiction or logical disjunction in a text, argument, or theory. In philosophical terms, aporia is a state of doubt and unease, described by Plato as being in the dark. However, this discomfort is essential for intellectual growth. Through questioning, one moves from ignorance to enlightenment, a state of euporia, characterized by resourcefulness and clarity. The euporia twin blade encapsulates this journey. Euporia, twin blades symbolizing abundance, the secret treasure of the tower. Though the blade, fashioned from golden shoots, are largely wilted and darkened, their luster can be restored by dealing damage to foes. However, damage dealt to those who live in death will have no such effect. The twin blade's transformation from dark to light reflects the movement from aporia to euporia. Its name, euporia, signifies an abundance of understanding or intellectual clarity. Yet, the weapon's power is ineffective against those who live in death, underscoring an important philosophical point. Without a soul, there is no capacity for growth or understanding. This aligns with Plato's philosophy, where the soul's pursuit of knowledge and the forms is the essence of life itself. The idea of the soul being pivotal to learning and spiritual growth is seen with this passage from Plato's Phaedo. But it thinks best when none of these things trouble it, neither hearing, nor sight, nor pain, nor any pleasure. But it is, so far as possible, alone by itself, and takes leave of the body, and avoiding, so far as it can, all associations or contact with the body, reaches out toward reality, What we just read was Plato describing how the body gets in the way of the soul's ability to learn. Knowledge and understanding are the essence of life. It is the reason to live. Tangled horns, the spirituality of conflict. Divine Beast Warrior armor. Armor fretted of the horned warriors chosen to become Divine Beast Warriors, adorned with a lion's pelt. Among the Divine Beast Warriors, only those who truly excel at divine invocation become sculpted keepers, and are granted the honor of the lion dance. Roar of Rugalea. An incantation of what is jokingly called the Bear Communion, channels the power of Rugalea, the great red bear, an incantation that is more akin to divine invocation of the horn scent than it is to the dragon communion. Only through desperate battle with the feral wild can one discover a god unique to oneself. To partake in bear communion, one must engage in combat with a bear. This mirrors the concept of divine invocation, in which conflict or battle is sought as a means to invoke the divine and foster spiritual growth. It is through this growth that the tangled horns of the horn-sent warriors and inquisitors emerge, a physical manifestation of spiritual ascent. A significant connection between the inquisitors and the divine warriors is their shared symbolism of tangled horns. These horns represent spirituality and growth through conflict, be it verbal as in debates symbolized by the barbs, or physical as in combat. Not only do the inquisitors and divine warriors take pride in the refinement of their own horns, but they also seek opportunities to lock horns with opponents, embracing conflict as a mutual exchange that fosters growth and self-improvement. The metaphor of tangled horns aligns with the idiom locking horns, symbolizing engagement in conflict as a crucible for refinement and self-discovery. Hornsent view the crucible as sacred for the refinement wrought through its evolutionary gifts, most prominently their tangled horns. The Hornsent's veneration of the crucible reflects this idea of growth through struggle. Spirituality, for them, increases through such engagement, and the tangled horns serve as a physical manifestation of this philosophy. For both the inquisitors and divine warriors, conflict, whether intellectual or physical, becomes a path to enlightenment and self-discovery. The inquisitors embody the philosophical process of rigorous questioning and intellectual growth. Their tools and practices echo the Socratic method, leading individuals through aporia toward euporia. This journey from ignorance to enlightenment is not merely a theme, but an exploration of the human condition. One that shows the importance of the soul's pursuit of truth and the transformative power of inquiry, self-reflection. Through the lens of the inquisitors, we are invited to grapple with the complexities of knowledge, doubt, and the eternal quest for understanding. The journey from ignorance to enlightenment can be unsettling, but it is worth it. Plato's Philosopher King understands this all too well. As they ascend out of the cave, leaving behind the shadows of ignorance to embrace the light of understanding and to grasp it with their mind, the gate of divinity is the exit to Plato's cave. Plato believed that the essence of life lies in the pursuit of the good and the ascent toward true knowledge. For him, life's purpose is not merely physical survival or material pleasure, but the soul's journey to apprehend the eternal and unchanging forms, particularly the form of the good. This means to strive to learn, to understand, and to use the mind for the betterment of oneself and others. It involves enduring the unease of the journey toward enlightenment, aporia, and ultimately being filled with the abundance of understanding, euporia. Always aim for the light. Or don't. the Elementus mask, which transforms its wearer into a Elementor. The mask's rapturous expression signifies a philosophical embrace of sorrow as a state of being. According to its description, this transformation represents a state of a denizen of paradise, a condition feared and suppressed by the people of the tower. Their fear and rejection of this perceived true bliss reveals a societal unease with the Elementor's worldview, a life rooted in ignorance and a denial of enlightenment. The blindfold of happiness. Ignorance is bliss. The blindfold of happiness encapsulates the Elementor's ethos. To those who seek happiness, blindness is bliss. This item's unique skill involves swinging the head while covering the eyes, unleashing a wail of lamentation. Symbolically, this act literalizes the idiom, ignorance is bliss, meaning blindness shields one from the discomfort of knowledge. The light will pass right through you. However, this blindness comes at a cost. The blindfold of happiness ties joy directly to a willful rejection of sight, representing a loss of clarity and self-awareness. It raises the question, is happiness truly meaningful if it depends on avoiding reality? The Lamentor's mocking laughter during combat underscores the disdain for the player's pursuit of enlightenment. The journey they abandon in favor of blissful ignorance. The lamenting visage, a stone lantern carved to resemble a lamenting human head, further illustrates the concepts of ignorance as comfort. Although its eyes emit light, they remain vacant, symbolizing a superficial illumination devoid of true insight. The visage imparts a sense of languid ease, reflecting the contentment of one who has abandoned the complexities of reality. This item underscores the lamentor's state of being, an individual retreating from the burdens of knowledge into a static, blissful ignorance. The light it emits illuminates surroundings, but offers no real understanding, mirroring the illusions of happiness that the lamentor's rapture provides without genuine enlightenment. There will be many jokes about the man who went on a visit to the sun and lost his eyes. This quote comes from Plato's The Republic, and it is talking about the prisoners in Plato's cave who laugh and joke about the man who went to the sun and lost his eyes. They are laughing at the philosopher king. They are content with their ignorance. The lamentor's role as a prisoner encapsulates their philosophical stance. While their blissful state may appear enviable, it represents a self-imposed captivity. Their laughter during combat, which mocks the player's struggle, betrays an underlying lamentation for the path they themselves have forsaken. The law surrounding the lamentor's transformation, a state of a denizen of paradise, reveals a tragic irony. The people of the tower feared this transformation, perceiving it as a distortion of true bliss. Their rejection signifies an acknowledgement that ignorance, though comforting, ultimately diminishes the potential for genuine happiness. In this context, paradise becomes a hollow ideal when built upon a denial rather than understanding. When combined with the practices of the Inquisitors and Divine Warriors, the Lamentor's story deepens the philosophical narrative of Enir-Ilim. While the Inquisitors embody strict questioning and the pursuit of enlightenment through struggle, the Lamentor represents the opposite extreme, a retreat into blissful ignorance. The juxtaposition of these figures highlights the multiplicity of approaches to understanding the human condition. The denizens of the tower collectively reflect the game's broader philosophical inquiry. Is happiness achieved through struggle and enlightenment, or through the comforting embrace of ignorance. The lamentous state feared by the people of the tower suggests that ignorance may offer solace, but ultimately leaves one unfulfilled. In contrast, the tangled horns of the hornsent and the probing barbs of the Inquisitor's golden arcs symbolize the painful yet rewarding journey towards self-discovery and spiritual growth. The lamenter, alongside the denizens of the tower, serve as a philosophical mirror. They each represent different facets of the human condition. Do you embrace the pain and pursuit of knowledge, the embrace of conflict as a crucible for growth, and the retreat into ignorance as a shield against suffering? Together, these factions challenge the player to consider their own approaches to enlightenment and the nature of happiness. Through their interactions and symbolism, the inhabitants of Enir-Ilim invite the player to explore the tension between ignorance and understanding, bliss and sorrow, comfort and growth. In this way, the story has philosophical themes woven throughout that resonate with the struggles and triumph of the human spirit. We are invited to reflect on our own choices that shape our journey through the lands between. Thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share.